Breaking news! One of the most unexpected names from the offseason is already making headlines at Detroit Lions OTAs, and it's sending shockwaves through Allen Park. This player isn't a rookie. He's not a superstar acquisition. But what he's showing on the field might just shake up the defensive backfield more than anyone anticipated. His journey, his moment, and what it means for this stacked Lions defense is something every fan needs to hear about right now. But before we move on, make sure you hit that like button if you're a true Lions fan. It's always amazing to see fans of all ages supporting this team. And if you feel like it, comment, "Go Lions," down below, and let's keep this energy rolling into the season. Hutchinson, yes, the very same cornerback who was on the receiving end of a now famous block by Amon-Ra St. Brown during last year's matchup against the Ravens, is turning heads in Detroit's offseason training activities. He's been around the league, most recently starting games for Baltimore, but now, in Honolulu Blue, he's reminding people why he still belongs in the NFL. In just the first day of OTAs, Hutchinson recorded an interception, and just like that, the buzz around his name is growing fast. This is the kind of performance that forces people to rethink the depth chart, because when you look at Detroit's current secondary, it's arguably deeper and more competitive than any we've seen in recent years. DJ Reed is poised to hold the CB1 spot, allowing prized rookie Terrion Arnold time to develop without immediately being thrown to the wolves, i.e., shadowing Justin Jefferson week after week. That development time is key for Arnold, and with veteran layers like Ennis Rakestraw Jr. and Amick Robertson also in the mix, this cornerback group feels like it finally has depth and talent to match up across the board. Avonte Maddox brings his experience from Philadelphia into the slot, and with Hutchinson showing that he's not just a camp body but a viable competitor, things are getting very real. And we haven't even mentioned the fact that this team also boasts 2 all-pro safeties. The only question now is about safety depth, but the top-line talent? It's there, no doubt. And while everyone was watching the rookies and waiting to see what the big names like Arnold would do, Hutchinson came out of the shadows and made his presence felt immediately. It's the kind of move that doesn't just make a player stand out. It makes coaches reconsider schemes. It makes position coaches think about rotations. And it makes other guys in the room step up their game. This is what competition does. This is how you build a championship roster. But not everything at OTAs is smooth sailing. While Hutchinson shines, other key players like Amon-Ra St. Brown and Alex Anzalone have been sidelined, the latter potentially due to contract considerations. Frank Ragnow is also not participating yet, and fans are eagerly awaiting Dan Campbell's first press conference of OTAs. While we've heard from coordinators and assistants, the head coach has yet to speak, and that silence is building anticipation. When Dan talks, he doesn't dodge questions, he gives answers, real ones. And that's exactly what fans are craving right now. Then there's Aidan Hutchinson. Yes, he's back and fully participating. And that's not just a good sign, it's a massive relief. With how physical and relentless he plays, the temptation to rest him until training camp would have been completely understandable. But seeing him on the field now, that says a lot about his hunger, his mindset, and his leadership. This team isn't resting on last year's success. They're pushing right now, in May. The reality is, staying healthy might be the single biggest storyline for this team moving forward. Last year, injury after injury robbed this team of so much depth. Season-ending losses mounted, and despite that, the Lions still surged into relevance. Now, imagine what they could do if they stay healthy, if Hutchinson doesn't miss time, if the corners stay on the field, if the offensive line remains intact, if Hutchinson becomes more than just a depth piece and morphs into a reliable contributor. This defense could be elite. And here's something else to keep an eye on. The Lions and Texans are set for a joint practice. It might seem like a small thing, but this is more than a scrimmage. This is about matching up against another up-and-coming team with a rising star QB in C.J. Stroud and a coaching staff that feels just as buttoned up as Detroit's. Unlike some past joint practices that turn chaotic, this one feels like it's being built for real development. No nonsense, no ego battles, just clean, competitive football. But what happens next? How will Hutchinson fit into the bigger picture once the pads come on? Will this early splash translate into a significant role on Sundays this fall? That's the million-dollar question. Because as exciting as OTAs are, we all know this is just the beginning. These early glimpses can be deceiving, or they can be foreshadowing something big. And when it comes to Hutchinson, it's starting to feel like the latter. This isn't a random fluke. This is a veteran player, motivated, healthy, and fitting into a defensive scheme that rewards physical, smart football. Aaron Glenn's system thrives on aggressive corners who can trust the back end, and with Hutchinson's experience and recent performance, he could find himself not only on the roster but rotating heavily, or even starting, if he keeps this up. But here's where it gets even more intriguing. The ripple effects. If Hutchinson forces his way into the conversation, that's going to shift the dynamics for guys like Rakestraw and Robertson. It puts pressure on Maddox in the slot. It even affects how the safeties rotate, because everything in the secondary is interconnected. It's competition at its best, and it's happening at every level on this defense. And we haven't even talked about the tone Dan Campbell sets during these weeks. Sure, he hasn't spoken to the media yet, but make no mistake, he's setting the tempo behind the scenes. The entire vibe around Allen Park has changed. There's no more underdog mentality. There's no more just happy to compete. This is a team that believes it can go all the way. That's why someone like Hutchinson flashing in May isn't just a small note. It's a potential piece of a Super Bowl puzzle. Let's not forget about the psychological advantage of having veterans like Hutchinson and Maddox around. For rookies like Arnold, this is mentorship in real time. He doesn't have to carry the load from day one. He gets to watch guys who've battled through the league's grind and learn how to adjust to NFL speed, technique, and mental toughness. That's invaluable, and it's strategic from Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell, building not just talent, but the right environment for young players to thrive. And then there's the hidden gem in all of this, continuity. For the first time in years, the Lions aren't rebuilding. They're refining, adding proven pieces, competing at positions that used to be question marks. Defensive line? Solid. Linebackers? Veterans across the board. Secondary? Deep and versatile. And that's why a name like Hutchinson can be the difference between a good defense and a championship caliber one. Because if you don't have to panic when someone goes down, if the next man up is actually ready, that's how you survive the long NFL grind. We also can't ignore the emotional factor for fans. Watching a player like Hutchinson, who was on the receiving end of one of the most viral blocks of last season, come into the very team that dished it out and start making plays, that's full circle redemption. That's the kind of story fans rally around. It's personal, it's gritty, and it's perfectly aligned with the Lions' identity under Campbell. And speaking of identity, it's being tested and forged again this offseason. Last year wasn't a fluke, it was the beginning. Now, it's about proving it wasn't just momentum. It's about backing it up, doubling down, and going further. And every surprise performance, every unexpected rise, like Hutchinson's interception on day one, matters. It builds confidence. It sends a message to the locker room. Nothing is given. Everything is earned. And here's the thing. This isn't just about one play or one interception. It's about the tone that Hutchinson is helping to set. When veterans start fast, it raises the standard for everyone else. The younger guys take notice, the coaches take notes, and the competition level jumps instantly. That's what OTAs are really about. Not just installing plays, but building urgency. Rock's early impact is more than just a highlight, it's a spark. And at a team this loaded, every spark matters. Could this be the breakout no one saw coming? So Lions fans, what do you think? Is Hutchinson the surprise contributor that could push this defense over the top? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like this video if you're all in on the Lions this season. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any updates. We've got more news, interviews, and analysis coming your way. Video on the screen now. Click it, and I'll see you there.